Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healy for Beginners and Beyond for Thursday, January 13th, 2022. I'm Jake Barron, Head of Operations for the Americas, and I'll be your host this afternoon. And I got my amazing co-host with me as well, Freddie Perez. And also we got from our tech support team here in the US, we have Taylor helping out in the chat. So if you have any questions, she'll be monitoring that and be able to provide assistance. On today's call, I've got the agenda here. So we're going to start with a quick unboxing of the Healy like we always do. And then we're going to move right into how do you check for updates on your app. So whether it's the Pink Dot app, the Analyze app, where do you go to check to see if you have the most recent version, to manually check for updates, that kind of thing. Do a little quick overview on that. And then today we're going to go into an overview of all of the main sections for Healy where you can go to get support and resources. So we got BackOffice, we've got Shop, and we've got Academy. So we're going to go kind of show you how to get to those things, just point out a few key spots in each of those areas. And then we're also going to, near the end of today's episode, we'll do a little bit on just general troubleshooting for battery issues, connection issues, that kind of thing, what to look out for there, how to do a hard reset on your battery. That term gets thrown around a lot for people. Just do a hard reset. And it's very simple, but if you haven't done it before, we'll kind of show you how that is done. And then if we have any time, we don't ever have any time, but if we do have time, we will go through a little open Q&A. So let's go ahead and we'll get started with the unboxing. Let me stop sharing my screen first. Okay, here we go. So the Healy device right here, you got your Healy box. Everyone's familiar with what this thing looks like here. This comes shrink wrap from the factory in Germany. It comes in an outer shipping box. Along with whatever else that you ordered. If you just ordered a Healy device itself, you would have this box. And then also in there, you'll have a little plastic bag here that has the electrode wristbands in there. So the things that I'm wearing, they come bundled up right here in this little bag. They're not inside of this box, but they're inside the shipping box. So keep sure you look out for those when you receive your order. And there's also a packing slip in here as well. And this is always good to, when you first get it, it's got all your order information, order number, just on the bottom of the box. It's just plain, there's no printing. It's asking for something to be put there. And this is a sticker, the packing slip. So peel off the backing, put this on the bottom of your Healy box, and then set this aside in a drawer. You can use it for accessories, guides, booklets, whatever you want. And it's got all of your information on there. On the side of the box, we have the serial number and a QR code listed on one side, and then we have the similar information listed on one of the other short sides of the box there. So when you first get it, tear off the shrink wrap, and then underneath, the very first thing you have on top is a quick start guide. So we have here, just a couple pages long, overview of what comes in the box. And so some of the indicator lights mean on the outside of the Healy. Very basic, takes a minute or two to read through. Go ahead and do that. Underneath that, there is a larger instructions for use document. So we have this. This is, again, it's important to read through. But if you want to, the very first time, you can certainly set this aside and read through while your device is charging, which we'll show you here in a minute, because it takes a couple hours, typically the first time you get your Healy. So underneath the quick start guide and the instructions for use, you have the actual Healy device itself. It sits on a little cardboard tray. There's a little cutout for it. So if you just take the Healy device out there, you'll see on the front here, it looks a little bit different than the one that I'm wearing right here. So mine's white, this one is blue. This is just a blue protective film. It comes that way from the factory. You can just pull that off right when you get it. Also on the front here, there's two indicator lights. There's a Bluetooth indicator light on one side, and on the opposite side, there's a green power light. And we'll talk about those here in a minute. On the back side here, we have the QR code as well, which is what you're going to use to scan your Healy device when you're setting up your Healy Pink Dot app for the first time. And it also has the serial number listed underneath here as well. If you actually, say it doesn't scan properly, for some reason you can't scan your device, you can type it in manually, and that serial number is there. And also on the box, as I mentioned before. We have a Healy clip, comes pre-installed, attached on the back of the Healy device itself. And this can be removed for, it depends though, because we have a new version of the Healy shipping, not out of both warehouses yet, it looks like, but soon all devices in the US will not have this plastic clip anymore. There's the new version of the Healy, the Healy housing itself looks exactly the same, but this plastic clip has been replaced with a metal clip that is actually built in to the housing itself. So it's more durable. It's certainly less prone to cracking or breaking off. The main difference though is that there's no longer going to be this removable clip where you can put the lanyard attachment on it. So instead you have the clip that's permanently affixed, metal clip, very durable, and there's a hole. I'm gonna get my hands on one of these for one of our future calls just so you can see the difference, but there's a hole cut out into the top of the metal clip. So you can put, weave something through there to use as a lanyard. You can still use, in most cases, the lanyard clip attachment that's on the very end. So you can typically still get that through. It's just, you no longer have to swap between one or the other. You can do both. So it's great. It's an improved design. And I think everyone will be much more happy with that going forward, as it's more durable, and you don't have to worry about your clip breaking, possibly needing a replacement clip or possibly needing a replacement device itself. So looking forward to getting those distributed throughout the US and the other markets around the world too, as these devices continue to ship for new customers, and also any replacements that we're shipping out. So other than that, on the bottom side here, we have a charging port on one side, and then on the opposite side, there's two ports for the connection cable. So the charging port is a micro USB port, and these are on the other side proprietary for the actual Healy connection cables that we use. So speaking of those cables and charging, underneath here, you pull this tray out, and then underneath, we're going to go right to the charging cable. It's just a very small micro USB charging cable. This is, and again, we on one side, we have a standard USB, and then on the other side, we got the micro USB connection. So this can only be inserted into the Healy device one way, because one end of the charger is larger than the other. So you got to make sure you have this lined up properly when you're going to charge your device. So, and it's fairly snug fit. It makes a little bit of a clicking noise when it's ready to go. Oh, hold on here. Got to untangle. So this goes right in there. The other end charges. Pretty much we recommend using a wall charger. Don't try to charge it with your laptop or in your car or anything like that, especially the first time you get it. Go ahead and plug it in a good quality wall charger, USB hub, something like that you have in your house. If you need another cable, if you ever lose this cable, we don't sell additional charging cables, but this is a standard micro USB cable you can get anywhere. Most of us have a ton of these laying around the house from other devices we may have purchased in the past. If you want to get a longer cable for whatever reason you might need one, go ahead and do that. There's no any issues with that, but this is the one that comes with it. If you need another, they're easy to find everywhere. So let's see, under that we'll go to the connection cables now. There's a pair on the other side, and these are just bundled up from the factory. On one end, we have the snap. So this snaps onto either the wristband electrodes like I'm wearing right here, or the adhesive electrodes, which we'll show you here in a minute. And on the other end is the part that actually goes into the Healy device itself. So this, again, you want to make sure you just line it up, and it's a snug fit. You want to make sure it's fully inserted, or else you're going to have conductivity issues when you're using the Pink Dot app. You'll get You won't get the white line, you'll get the black line instead. And you'll want to make sure if you ever get that line, one thing to check for sure is to make sure this is fully inserted. Another thing is to make sure that your wristbands are on tight enough, they're snug, properly hydrated, those types of things, especially if you're in an area where the air is drier. And here in Florida, it's pretty humid, so most people our skin's pretty hydrated here, but keep an eye out for that. And so if you're not using the wristband electrodes like I am, certain programs call for of course, the adhesive electrodes. And every Healy comes with 2 pairs of these. So they're just 2 pairs. Each pair is on a little plastic sticky backing, because these are, of course, adhesive. They're very sticky. And on the other end, we have the snap. So if you weren't using the wristbands, you can just take the connection cable and snap it to the adhesive electrode, peel it off the backing, and then apply it wherever the particular issue that you're having needs attention. And you'll see when you're running some of the local stimulation pain programs, it'll show areas where you might be using them, whether it's the lower back, upper back, elbow, knee, something like that. The little diagram will kind of show you where you can put those. And these can be reused. These aren't single use, so don't use them once and throw them away and then have to order another one. You can use them many times. And if you clean them, you can also sort of extend the life of these as well. But if you do need to order more, these are available on our website. You can just go to the accessories section of our website and you can order additional pairs of these adhesive electrodes. And then other than that, the last thing inside the box is this little lanyard attachment. So again, this is something that will no longer be needed here in the next probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months once we're no longer shipping this version of the device. But in the meantime, we have hundreds of thousands of these Healys out there with these plastic clips and this lanyard attachment. And a lot of people like to use a lanyard. Some people like to use a lanyard for certain occasions and then switch it back. If you go to last week's Healy for Beginners and Beyond, we actually showed during that episode how to switch from the clip to the lanyard attachment and then back to the clip. So I'll post the link to our YouTube channel here during the chat on this call, because that's a great resource for all our top calls from the past couple months. We sort of post there. They're all hyperlinked, so you can go straight to the individual section that you need help with. And that's just a great resource. We're going to continue to put more and more content on that page. So if you haven't gone to that page yet, subscribe to that page, please go ahead and do so, because it's available to you 24/7. We do this call most Thursdays, but if you have someone new join and they need help with a particular issue, you can just go to YouTube, search for that issue, and it'll pop up in the search results. And or you can just go straight to our YouTube channel and look for the video that you're needing help with. So we have this on one of the future calls. Again, I'll show the difference between the old clip and the sort of the new version. Kind of, we can compare that. That'll be good to discuss. So again, I forgot to mention, when you go to charge your Healy the first time, it typically takes around 2+ hours to fully charge. So that when you first plug it in, there's a green light, a green power light that I mentioned. That light will come on. You'll kind of see it pulsating very, very faintly, which kind of it means that it's charging. But when it's fully charged, that light will go off. So it's easy to tell. You don't have to worry. Okay, is it charged? Is it not? I don't know. That light will go off. Once it goes off, you're good to go. You can unplug it from the charger, hook everything up, turn it on, connect to your Healy apps, whichever one you're wanting to use at that time, and then go ahead and get started. And then also, a lot of questions, there's a battery indicator on both of the apps that we have, the main apps, the pink app and the blue dot app. And you'll see that indicator. It's not, obviously 100% accurate, because it's not taking exact measurements straight from the battery, but it's within a couple percent, it's typically accurate too. And then also you'll know for sure if it needs to be charged, because if you go to turn on your Healy and this light blinks fast 5 times, that means that it needs to be charged. It'll blink really fast for a second and then go off. if you try to turn it back on again, it'll do the same thing. So at that point, you do need to charge your Healy. But we certainly recommend that you try not to charge your Healy every time you use it. It's not good to use it, charge it to 100%, drop it down to 80, 90%, charge it again. Let it go through the whole battery cycle. I know there's certain times where that might not be convenient. So of course, there's occasions where if it's down to 20, 30%, something like that, you're leaving for the day and want to bring it with you. Yeah, of course you can charge it up to 100%. But if you have the ability to at home, let it fully go through the charging cycle, fully deplete, and fully charge it again next time. You'll have better battery life, and it'll help things long term. But yeah, and then also, while you're plugging your Healy in and charging it, we have tons of resources. We mentioned, of course, read through the booklets that come with it, the quick start guide, instructions for use. We also have Healy Academy, which we're going to show you here in a little bit on this call, how to get to that, what's available in Healy Academy. And then we also have our YouTube channel, which I mentioned, and we'll also post that link here. And we also have, there's some very in-depth videos available on mydevicehelp.com. Those are some great videos that Ken Close and Stephen Keller have created. Each one of them are a couple of hours long. So they call it a deep dive, and it truly is a deep dive into each of those apps. So, yeah. But you don't need to watch the whole video if you don't want to. So don't go to that page and be like, oh, I don't have 3 hours to sit through this. Those are all indexed as well. So if you go to those videos, go to the show more part on the page, it'll tell you all the different topics that we're discussing. You can click and go right to them. So those are a great resource that we'd like to send people to. And then we also have HealyWelcome.com, which is has some of the videos, or all the videos that used to be on our little video brochure that used to come with our orders for a certain period of time. But tons of resources, but the more you learn, the more you read, the better experience you'll have. And also, especially the Healy manual. We have a lot of people that get their Healy and never actually read the manual, not the instructions for use. This is separate from the actual Healy manual for, say, like the Pink Dot app or the Analyze app. So if you want to, there's a link to the manual within the app. So if you go to the information section or the settings, depending on which one you're using, you can go to the manual and it'll send you to the page. It's easier to view on a tablet or a computer for sure, because it's hard to read a whole manual on your phone. But another way you can get to it, which we'll show you here in a minute, is in BackOffice. In the download section, you'll have there's a link to the Healy manual there as well. And that one is always updated. So that one will always be the most recent version. So that's a little bit about the unboxing and some of the resources. So Freddie, I'm going to pass it over to you. And if you could, do you want to show where we can check to make sure our apps are updated?
Yeah, I'll do that. But I just wanted to give a couple of little tips. When you're plugging the Healy in to charge it, and you were mentioning about using a wall charger, and if your power adapter or that little block charger, if you have it actually plugged into a wall, you want to make sure, because that little short lead, if you're using that one, the little charging cable, and you have it connected to the Healy, you want to make sure that it's secure, because if it just moves a little bit, then it won't charge. And you'll notice that, as Jake mentioned, the green light's on, it's charging. When it's gone out, it is charged. So that's a little tip there. And then another little tip, you were talking about being able to reuse the sticky adhesives. And so one of the things that we found to prolong the life on those is that you can take like a cotton ball and some rubbing alcohol, right? So you can take, and I always suggest too, is take that rubbing alcohol and put it on the area where you're going to actually use that sticky adhesive. That way it doesn't pick up your, your dead skin and the oils that are coming out of your skin. But you can also take and do the same thing, a little cleaning maintenance on those. That will help prolong the life of those as well. I just wanted to share that. A couple of tips.
Great tips as always. Yep.
Very good. Okay, so let me share my screen on my phone. Now, interesting, we were talking about the blue screen. So I had just ran a program on my Apple with my residents, and then I went back in so I could go and show the full sync where the update is, and I got a blue screen there. So Jake, you're going to have to do that part.
I'll put you on the list, the invite list.
Put me on the list. That'll be perfect. But let me come in here. Let me share screen. Give me 1 second. And we're going to come in here. We're going to look at the, yeah, well, come on, you can do it. All right, here we go. Perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot to turn my phone on. And okay. All right. Perfect. Come over here to Healy. We're going to go on the pink dot. Okay. So Jake was mentioning about where we're looking at updates. And of course, I'm opening up the pink dot. So let me go ahead and get connected again. Here we go. So Jake was mentioning about where you could find the manual. So here on the front page, right, when you come down here and you look at the information, there's some details there. And there's where that manual that he was mentioning that you can access from your smart device. So that's that area there. But when you're looking at updating, you'll want to go into the settings. There, keeps defaulting there. Why is that?
Oh, I think by, I'll say, close it out.
There we go. Yeah. All right. So in your settings, you'll notice about midway down, it says check for updates. Okay. So you just simply tap that. It's like an active button. And what that's going to do, it's going to look at your edition, and then it's going to update any of the programs. And then if you brought other modules, other products that need to be updated, here's where you'd start in the pink dot. Check for updates, and then it's going to update all the programs. So you'll see here, it just diverted back to that screen, which it's going to do. And all you have to do up in that top left, I call that a hamburger, a little 3 horizontal lines, you tap it, you go back to your screen, and then you can come in here and scroll through and look at all the different programs, making sure that they are all, again, inside that pink dot app. So that's how simple it is to go and check for updates and update your pink dot app.
Yeah.
So I can't get to the blue. You want to go and show them the blue?
Yeah, let me.
So let me stop screen share here. Hold on. Okay.
Let me close out of my pink dot app here so I don't mess anything up. Well, that's while I just mentioned that. So if you're ever running, you never want to have both of your apps open at once. If you have the pink dot app open, you want to fully close out that app before you move into the Analyze app. If you're in the Analyze app, you want to close that out before you move into the pink dot app. Just something to keep in mind, because a lot of times, so many people have, you know, a million apps or tabs open on their phone. And it's always good to close as many of these out as you can, so they're not open in the background, using your phone's resources, your smart devices resources as well. So it's always good to sort of clean all those out every once in a while, but definitely when you're switching between the apps, it's important too. So, okay.
And one of the things too, I'd like to mention, and I was helping someone yesterday with this issue. They were experiencing where they were running a program and then it would drop. And that issue that Jake just mentioned about making sure you have any active apps closed, right? You don't want apps running in the background, because again, depending on your bandwidth and your signal, it could affect the functionality of the app. And also, again, you can't run both, as Jake mentioned, you can't run both. So you want to make sure that you have one completely turned off. And again, if you're in the pink and you see either the blue or the green light still flashing, but you've closed it, it's not completely off. So you'll need to take the steps to make sure that you close the app before you move from one to the other.
Okay, so now we have the Healy Advisor Analyze Blue Dot app open. You know, the first screen you come to here. So as far as how to check for updates, I think a lot of us, I do, have our apps to automatically install updates. So I never have had to check for an update in my Analyze app. As soon as there's an update available, the next time I open that app, it already comes up. You'll see a screen pop up at the very first time that shows all the app version numbers and what was new or fixed or improved in that particular app. So earlier this week, app version 1.20.1 was released. And as soon as I opened my app up, at the very top, it said 1.20.1, and it said it fixed the issue, the bug issue with the synchronization, the 10% synchronization. I don't remember the exact wording, but it fixed. That's what was the reason for that particular release. And then it shows the history as well underneath it at 1.19, 1.1, all the way down as well. So if you're in that situation, there's really nothing that you need to do when a new app is released. In Apple, I can maybe I should show real quick where you go to see if you have automatic updates. I'm on an iPhone right now, but I can show you here. I had it open. So if you go to the settings and then you go to the App Store, at the top here, you'll see it says automatic downloads. And then you'll see that I have it automatically checked or enabled for app updates. So I don't need to do anything when a new version is released. It's automatically going to be there. So that's one way. But if you don't have it, you can go down to the settings here. And then one way you can also check, you'll see at the top, if you click the info section, see it says Healy Advisor Analyze App version 1.20.1. That's the one that was just released. This just confirms that is the version that you have. And then you can also, Freddie, would you recommend that we go through the full synchronization or go to the App Store and show that it would say update if it needs to be updated? Oh, Freddie, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was on mute. Would you say that again, please?
No, I was going to say, do you think we should go through? Obviously, we can show the full synchronization here in the cloud settings, but also the section in the App Store where next to your app, it would show if an update is available.
Right, that's true for both the Android and the Apple products. Yeah.
Okay. So
why don't we just open up the cloud settings and just give everyone a peek of what we're looking at here. Yeah, at the very bottom, you'll see where the full synchronization. So that's a hot button too. So that full synchronization is like an update for your Blue Dot app. And as you see, Jake is doing that full synchronization. You'll also notice above there, there's 3 permissions: the mobile data sync, the automatic sync, and the list sync. Sometimes you may experience, and I think this is part of the corrections, in the past, it was kind of hesitating or was stopping at 10%. And the reason being is that there's 3 packets of information, 3, 5, and 10%, with the largest package of information that's being sunk in there at 10. So you see it starts to move. When it gets past 20%, it usually starts to move pretty quick. But if you're still experiencing where it's really slow, before you start that sync process, you may want to just go up there and turn off the mobile and the automatic sync. The list sync, it doesn't seem to affect it at all. So that's a little side tip there.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people, sometimes your Wi-Fi is faster than your mobile, and sometimes your mobile is faster than your Wi-Fi. And it can vary from day to day depending on the environmental factors and situations going on. Sometimes your internet provider might be having an issue locally in your area, and you might need to switch to mobile or switch from mobile to Wi-Fi depending on what's going on. So keep that in mind if it's going really slow and you're having trouble syncing or it's just getting stuck. That's always one section that you're going to want to check. So I'm just going to go out of here. We're going to go to the App Store real quick just to show. Let's see. So we'll just do Healy. And you'll see here, let's just go to the Analyze App one. Where it says open, if there was an update needed, you would see update there. So you'll see I already have it, so it just says open. It doesn't say update. if there was an update that I didn't have yet installed on my phone, it would say update instead of open. And you can see here the version issue, what's new, version 1.20.1 in the history, and what the issue we fixed was. And then if you go, again, as I mentioned, version history, this kind of goes all the way back, the whole history of this app, what the issues were addressed, improvements, things like that. And if you have automatic updates listed, you'll see this sort of history pop up when you first go to open your app. So that's really the main thing to look out for when someone says, well, check for updates. So in the Pink Dot app, you already showed, where you go to get that, and then the Analyze app as well. But a lot of times you're going to want to, there is a link between the Pink Dot app and the Analyze app, as far as if you buy new programs, new subscriptions, that kind of thing, you're always going to want to check for updates in your Pink Dot app, and then also make sure your Analyze app is fully synced and updated as well. So, Freddie, anything to add before we move on to the next section?
No, no, that's an excellent tips that we're giving there. The only other one, if we're just talking about, because it seems like it's always a question about the master key. So if you'll just go back real quick,
Yeah.
I just want to just very briefly show folks about the master key. So go ahead and click on that master key.
The backup?
Yeah, the backup.
Yep.
So you see here, it says save master key. So go ahead and click on that save master key, Jake. So what that does, it's going to now, if you see up there, it automatically puts your master key. So you'll see the horizontal, right? So now when he clicked there to save it, we can click it to
the file. So yeah.
There's the file. Yes, there's the file. So when you click iCloud Drive, okay, what it's going to allow you to do is to choose a location.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a folder called Healy, so I just always save it to that particular folder.
Yeah. And then the backup again is to choose an email, right? So when you choose an email, which that's on the horizontal, so you see right. So yes,
sorry.
so now you're gonna, no, that's fine. You do, that's perfect.
Yeah,
so where it says mail, when you click on that mail icon, it's going to open up so that you can send it, and you want to send it to yourself. And what I always suggest on the subject line is to put like my master key or my MK, date stamp it, especially if it's the first time you're saving it. That way you'll know, for example, 1.13.22. That's today's date. That's the day you saved this master key. And then it's a little bit easier to go find in your email.
Yep.
That's all I wanted to share with that one.
Okay. All right, I'm going to delete this. Go ahead and close this. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, Freddie, and you want to switch over to the back office?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And by the way, while we were going through, I was able to get my residence.
Oh.
No, the residence. I was able to get it out of the blue screen, and now it's syncing. So that's a good sign.
Okay, nice.
Real good sign. All right, so let me go ahead and do a screen share here.
Okay.
All right. So there's two locations, right? The back office, you enter by going to my.healy.world. And this is the site you're going to see. And you'll see in the middle of the page, it's asking for username and a password. Okay. So once you put those credentials in, you just click sign in. And then what it's going to do, it's going to open up into your back office. Okay. This is the back office environment. And it even tells you, hey, welcome to your back office. Okay. And when you scroll down, you're going to now have, there's some stats here, depending on, where you're at in your progress, and you're building teams and members and so on and so on. So there's a lot of great information here. And then there's some additional information with implementations, right? We'd like to present transparent where we were working on recently. And so this is the indications, and then what's up next to do that. Some Healy downloads that are over here. And so when you click on go to downloads, it's going to give you some choices here, right, into the document center. And when you scroll down, you'll see over here, These are all PDF files, right? So if you wanted to look at a flyer, for example, there's several flyers here. The compensation plan, that presentation is here for you. The manual, right, for the I payout, so on and so on. So all of those are listed here. Did you have anything you wanted to add on this documents, Jay?
No, I mean, it's just a great resource, and especially how you can change the country, to see what's available in other markets. So say you know somebody in Germany or whatever, you can switch the country down at the top there, or back, scroll back down. Oh. Scroll back down to where the download part was, where it says United States right above the country.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, so we're in many countries. I forget the exact, although we're out to 40 or 50 countries. You can see exactly which documents are available for somebody, say Croatia or Bulgaria, whichever. You can see what they have available to them in their language. So we translate into many, many different languages, and this is, of course, a great resource if you want to get some information to somebody in a different country. So.
Get back to the USA so I can read it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, very good. So what I want to do is scroll down here to the very bottom too. When you start looking at, my computer is giving me a little heck. Okay, when you come down here to the bottom, you'll see there's a lot of more information, legal notices, privacy, GTC. So you'll see some of these come up like in the peak.app. So if you never took time to read them, you can always come here and you can read those. And again, you'll see here are some different languages that they're posted in as well. Okay. So we're going to move back up here now to the top. We're going to go over to that little hamburger bar and we're going to click on it. And on this little side panel, you'll see where it says My Business. So when we click on My Business, it's going to give you opportunity to go in and look at a genealogy tree. And of course, this is a test account, so there's not going to be a genealogy here. But here's where it starts. And when you look at the plan type, you can look at the weekly commissions, the metric plan, the monthly commissions. Then when you come over here into the period, then you can come in here and look at the different periods. And then when you come over here and look at the lineage, you have this placement tool, right? So you can look at dual team. And of course, there's nothing here for this test account, but then you also have the enrolling and the placement, right? So when you enroll someone, they go in, they are banked, and then you can come in and place them in your genealogy, whether it's going to be on the left side or the right side of your team. So that's a little tree view there. And then when we come back over here again to the business tools, I talked about the unplaced partners. So when you come over here and look, if you have any unplaced partners, here's where they're going to populate. And then you'll, from here, be able to determine where you're going to place those. And it gives you some information, sign up date, usernames, and things of that here. And then depending on how large your organization is, you may have to go through multiple screens and kind of drive down in order to get those. It also lets you do some exporting here as well. And then the view, you can view from 10 or all, right? So you have some choices here in viewing. We're going to move back over here, and then we're going to look at the performance manager just a second. Again, this is the real-time trackability of your business as you're bringing in new customers, new members, things of that nature. And it gives you some options here, right? So you can look at the status of the individual. You can come in and look at team, and then the bonus calculations. All of those are going to be populated here. And again, depending on the status of the individual, that ranking is going to be populated over here as well. And then it's going to indicate over here, as you're building, what level, what percentage that you need to complete to get to or complete that particular ranking. Okay, we'll move back over here to now to My Tools. When you come in here and you click on My Links, so the links that are going to pop up here, pardon me, are going to be your links. For example, populated already are the Asian, Australia, European, US, and this is the one that we're concerned with. So this is going to be the address right here that's going to allow you to come in and sign up a new affiliate. Okay. So when you click on this, just open up this new screen. Just show you where it's going to take you. It's going to take you to the shop page. It's going to drop down this, and this is the ID number of the person, right? So this is you. This is your ID number. And then they would just click, yes, this is refer. And then when you scroll down here to the bottom of the page, here is where you're going to be able to start the registration process. And when you click on this registration button, here's where you're going to be able to come in and to be able to determine if it's going to be a new independent Healy World member or if it's a customer. And then you'll just complete the process here, filling out all of their data, having, of course, the different agreements and terms and conditions that have to be done. Click registration. Okay. So, and then at that point, they would be able to go into the shop. Okay. And they would be able to make a purchase. So we're moving back over into the back office. We're going to come back over here again under my tools. This is one of my favorite places, is the Academy. As Jake had alluded to it earlier, this is a great resource, guys. I mean, they continue to build this out with more and more information, but you'll see here where it says, go to the Healy Academy. When you click here, you scroll down just a little bit. Here's where you can also come. This is a new button here for the live trainings and events. So you can click this registration button and register for those events right here now. Okay. Then when we scroll down a little bit, you'll see first steps, apps, support, right? And then here's a little bit of information, a little welcome. Scroll down a little bit further. There's Christian Dorner, our illustrious SEO, and you can watch his little video there as well. And it gives you an option where you can enter into the back office. Well, we're here, so we don't need to go there. But I do want to come over and open up. We'll start with first steps. I think maybe some of you may be brand new. So when you click on first steps, what they've done now is created a whole string of videos. A little welcome, your Healy business, Healy and its accessories. This kind of does the same thing that Jake did in the opening of our call today. Activating your Healy, right? So you may have missed just a little piece, or maybe you needed to share something with someone and you're like, oh my goodness, where can I find that info? It's right here. So again, 24/7, you have access here. Gets into things like sharing with you the gold cycle, some very important information of how there's 140,000 different frequencies built into 7 programs, okay? And then the program groups. So all of these videos, again, are right here at your fingertips 24/7. And then if we go back, you want to come in and here's support, and here are some of the other apps. Again, download the app and activation, the Healy programs, the gold cycle, program groups. So you can watch all of these. And if you look up here on this toolbar, maybe you want to go and find out more about the Analyze app. We call that the blue dot. Again, a whole string of videos here. We talked about resetting the master key and creating one. There's a video right here. So you don't have to try to, oh man, what did he say? You can come right here 24/7 and go and review it, right? The same thing with the Advisor app, right? And you'll see here now we have the search modules, digital nutrition, the pet. And when you click on here, it's going to open up again, additional video tutorials. So that makes it real easy for you to come back in and search any one of these topics that you need to gain more information or come in view for the first time. When we come back over here again, this is going to take us back to the home, or I can just go back and click here. And then, excuse me, we're going to scroll back up. We're going to go open up into my tools again. Remember we went to the downloads? Well, here are the downloads again, right?
So Freddie, back to real quick on Academy. So you don't need to go back to it, but I just put the link into the chat because you can go directly to Academy just by going to academy.healy.world. So you don't necessarily have to go through your back office in order to get there. You can just go directly there and save that as a favorite or bookmark on your browser, and then you'll have immediate access to all those trainings that Freddie just showed. And one of our, I would say most of our frequently asked questions recently, ever since we launched the, you had a misspelled word there in the top there, Freddie.
I saw it. I saw it.
But one of the most frequently asked questions is additional resources for the coaching modules, which are a tremendous new app module that we launched. And Fred, if you go back to the apps section, oh, sorry. I'm one step behind you here. If you go back to the apps section, you'll see on the far right at the top there, Heal Advisor, Analyze Coach. So there's a bunch of different training videos here that give a very good overview of of how to use the coaching module and how to get the most out of it. Because there is really so much as part of that module. It's almost like a completely new device, standalone product, because it's so powerful and it's such a massive addition to the Healy product family. So lots of information there, and there's certainly going to be more to come as additional trainings are made and guides, because we're just getting started as far as the training goes on not just Coach, but all of our products, of providing more resources for everything. So
yeah, and that's a great point, because I constantly encourage folks to come here and come and review these, even if you've been using it for a couple of weeks, even a month or so. Come back in and review these again, just so that if you're maybe questioning a step or maybe some part of the functionality, right, it's going to help answer those questions for you. So you don't have to put a support ticket in, right? You don't have to depend on anybody but yourself to come in and review this information. Then if you still have questions, then of course, you can get with your upline and get with support if you still have issues or questions. Okay. All right. Good stuff, Jake.
yeah.
So
Sure.
we were there with the downloads. And now what I want to do is go into the FAQs. Jake mentioned this is going to be a continuous work in progress. But anytime you have an issue, again, this should be one of your first go-to places to come in. Click on the FAQs, because that question that you have, most likely someone else has had that same question, right? And so, of course, we try to do the best in updating and keeping those questions current in here. But you'll see, again, you have all these different tabs. And so if we click on Healy Hardware, for example, here are all the FAQs. And again, there's going to be some that are going to be taken away. There's going to be some that are added. So it applies again. And when you click on, let's just come up here to the very top one. So when you click on one of the FAQs, it's going to open up and it's going to give you an answer. Okay. And then if you have a question or you want to contact support, you can do that from here as well.
That's a good question that you actually clicked on there, because we get that asked a lot on, I think every week there's someone asked this question on the calls, that what happens if I lose my Healy, or whatever, I lost it, or I need whatever particular situation happened for you. Am I out the full cost? If I paid for a residence at $1,500, or professional at $4,000, and you drop your Healy in the toilet, no, you don't have to pay that full amount again. It's the 300 euros, which is around 350 US plus tax, and you'll get everything that you had before added back onto your new device. So.
Yeah, and that's I've had that question many times as well. So am I going to have to repurchase the programs? No, you're not. As Jake mentioned, once you get your device, it's going to get activated and everything will repopulate. You'll just go through the activation steps just like you did before, and then it will populate everything, because the new SN number is going to be identified with whatever edition you have. And then so when they do that reactivation, send it to you, you'll be good as gold. Okay. Very good. All right. So let's move back over here into the back. Again, the FAQs, please send everyone here. If they ask you a question, you don't know the answer, this should be your first go-to location, to the FAQs. See if it's answered there. If not, go to the Academy. Go in there and look at those modules. See if that question is answered in a video instead of just something in content. right? A lot of folks prefer to look at the videos. That interaction makes it a little bit easier for them to understand and retain, which is great. Moving back over here to the the panel. Now here, it says My Support Center. So you can click here. And what it's going to do is going to give you a link. When we scroll down here, you'll see over here again, it gives us some options. And here's where you can come. And if you click on Open Support from here, it's going to take you to logging into the shop account. We're going to go there in a minute. Okay. But that's just where it's going to go. You'll need your credentials again to log in. We're going to move back over to the back office. We're still in the back office. We're going to come over here. Again, the bonus calculations. When you open this tab up, this is a new link. So again, because this is a test site, and I don't have any experience here. Jake, do you have anything you want to add for this new part of the site?
No, it's kind of difficult to kind of explain. There's no data there.
I know it's no data
but
there.
let's just
right?
skip through. Let's just skip through that.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and then the same thing with reports. Here's where you're going to be able to come in, and any reports that you have are going to be here. With no data, it's hard for us to really go through. Yeah. So that's pretty much the tour of the back office. Anything you want to add here, Jake, before we go?
No, I think let's move over to shop and show some of those key features now. So
okay, so over here, when you see your name, right? I did want to go here to real quick though.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
To edit your profile. Right, so when we click on edit the profile, and when this populates, you're going to see here some information. So all of this information, of course, this is a test, so it's not going to have very much in here, just a little information, right? And then you'll notice over here on the right side, your enrolling sponsor information, your placement sponsor, all that's going to be loaded here. And this code, again, this code is like your ID number, if you will. Okay, that's like your ID number. When you move over here to contact info, right, it's going to give you the address that you put in play when you signed up as a member. It's going to also have your phone numbers over here. You have the ability to make sure that the correct phone number, because as you see, it is a required field here. The same thing with the email that you have. And this little opt-in, this allows your upline to come in and view your details as well when you're personally sponsored. And then the financial info, here is where you'll be able to, once you set up your iPayout account, you'll be able to access that from here so that you can go in, look at your earnings, make sure your iPayout account is all set up properly so that you can have your funds sent to your card or to your bank account. So again, that's pretty much it here for the back office. When you want to log out, as you saw me go here, is edit. And then here's the sign out button. You just simply click it and you'll be signed out. Now we're going to move over to, excuse me. We're going to move over to, let me close some of these windows quickly here. Okay, we're going to move over to the shop account. Okay, again, two different accounts. The back office is my.healy.world. The shop account is us.healy.shop. In this account, you'll be able to either use your email address or your username. So I've got username and password already populated. Then you just click log in. And now it's going to open up into the shop account. Okay. It's supposed to open up to the shop account.
Is that username? Is that username right?
Yes, because this isn't the test account, remember?
No. I looked like there was a typo though.
Yeah.
Who spelled Healy wrong?
Maybe me. But let's try that again. There we go. Maybe that's why it wouldn't open for me.
I don't know. If not, we can open it online. But... There we
go. All right. So this is now, we've entered into the shop account. And it's called the shop account because you'll see right over here when you move over your cursor over here to shop, here's where you'll be able to come in You can go and look at all the additions, everything that's offered with the additions, right? And you'll see up here, there's the Healy additions, the programs, the different add-ons like the coil, the different modules that you can purchase separately, the upgrades that are available, and then the accessories. So let me just click on the accessories, because quite often, Jake, I know you do it, I do as well. Folks are always wondering, do we have the ability to order bracelets? And the answer is
Yeah,
no.
no, those are not available in the shop, but if something happens to your wristbands, if they, I don't know, say they start falling apart or you lose them or whatever, please just submit a support ticket and we will send you out a new pair for free. So
Perfect. So as Jake mentioned, here are the sticky adhesive. Those are available. Here are the connection cables, right? So again, sometimes things happen. They get broke. I had someone showed me a pair a few weeks ago where one of their pets chewed on them. And then you have
yeah.
some pet care. So here's
So
where those.
on the connection cables, I've been using the same pair of cables for over a year now, and the cables are pretty thin, but I've put these through a lot over the past year, and they're pretty durable. But I also always like to have a spare on hand in case one of them breaks or whatever. If you're on a trip, and it's just always good to have an extra just in case. So
Yeah, that's very
yeah.
good advice, because you never know when one may drop or something may happen, like you said.
Yeah.
And having an extra pair is always very convenient. Okay. And then they've also have now the travel case, right? The travel case is awesome because you can put all of your accessories in that little case, and then you're being able to carry it in your luggage, in your hand, wherever you're going. So those are pretty good. And then you can order these. One of the things I wanted to mention too over here about the cable. So this is a per cable. It's not a set, right? So when you look over here at the adhesives, so that's a grouping of 4 on that order, but this is one cable. Okay, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do one more here. Again, you can come and explore this. I just want to click on the Healy additions. And so when we scroll down here, you're going to be able to see there's the gold, the holistic, the resonance, and the professional edition. And so when you click on the professional, just to take a peek, it's going to now give you some additional details, right? So when you come down here, you can look and see, here's what's all included in the programs in that particular product, right? And then when you come down a little bit further, here are some of the other products as well that you can look at. The deep cycle, right? That's another module. So in your shop account is where you can explore all the different products that are available, currently available, and be able to order them from this shop account. Okay. When we come over here now and look at, I want to move back over here to welcome to the Healy world, right? This takes you here and gives you some really good information, right? It's kind of like an extension of an FAQ or some of that information. So let's just click on this one to learn more. So when you do that, it's going to open up and it's going to give you some more details, right, about that particular program in that app, right? So again, additional information is right here for you to come in and explore on your app. We want to move over now and look at here under the product world. And you can see, we have a lot of different areas. Again, for this is additional knowledge. Let's just click on Healy for Wellbeing just for an example. So when you come in here, it's going to give you information about the various devices and different information. It's going to give you a little bullet points on what your expectations should be when you order those products. Again, these are all the programs that are going to be connected with that particular program. So again, this is a really good resource that you can click on, and you can view this on your phone too when you open it up. But again, look how much simpler it is to come in here and read some of this information, right? And then if you need to, you can actually copy this if you wanted to send it to someone via email or something of that nature. Okay. When we scroll back up, the events, let's click on the Healy World events. Again, here's a location where you can come in and you're going to see the different areas where the events are, right? So if we click on the members meetings versus the world events, and we click here to learn some more, it's going to give you details about the upcoming events, right? Frequency Friday in Europe, for example. And when we scroll down, you're going to see different events that are listed here, update calls, right? And the Experience Healy's, this call that we're on right now, Healy for beginners and beyond. So if you lose this information, you can come right here and it's all right here. Again, this is one that if you need to, you can actually copy and paste this, put it in an email. And then right here, this is what I really like, link to the meeting. So right here from this location, you could actually come in and log in, link right into the meeting, okay? So that's pretty much what I wanted to show on the events. And then the About Us, this is some more good information. The scientific basis for the Healy. Again, come in and review this information, right? Let you know who the principals were that were putting some of the programs together, the frequencies, let you know a little bit about our founder, Marcus Shamiki, and also Nuna Nina, right? So this, again, is just some great information that's all located in your shop account. And then finally, we're going to go to support. Again, we have an FAQ. And when you open up the FAQ here, we go right back to that FAQ. So you have FAQ access from your back office and right here in your shop account as well. Now we're going to go to the support center. So if there is an issue that you can't resolve by going through some of the information that you've seen here or some of the different resources, and then you need to put in we say a ticket, and here you'll see where it says submit a case. So a case and a ticket are synonymous, okay? So when you click on submit a ticket, it's going to open up a screen. And in this screen, the first thing that they're going to ask you to do is to choose a topic. So when you let that screen drop down, let's say, for example, we click on products, and then it's going to give you the username here. But now it's going to ask you to search and submit with what I call a subtopic. So when you click this open, here are the different areas of interest. And let's just say we click on Healy hardware. Now it's going to give you, again, a little FAQ here. Most of the time, this notice of unexpected reactions on my body, you're not going to need to check that box. So just leave it blank. If you have a device, as you see here, it picked up my device, right? It's going to pick up that SN number. And if you have multiple devices, make sure it's populating the correct serial number of the device that you're having issues with, right? And so when you click over here, you'll see it picked up both of my devices, right? So you just want to make sure that you have the correct one that you have an issue with. And if there's an order number, if this is a brand new purchase, that would apply. Most times it won't. And then here under the subject, right, you want to keep this basic. So for example, if it was a battery issue that you're having, just type in battery issue, right? If it's the Blue Dot app, or you can type in Analyze app. Then under the description, here's the content. Here's where you want to get a little bit more specific, right? You want to let the text know what the exact issue is. So for example, yesterday we discovered there was a blue screen issue. So you could have simply came in here and requested to be part of the beta test for the blue screen issue with the Analyze app, right? That would have been simple. Make sure you click the correct language. And then I would also look at taking a picture of the back of your Healy so the SN number and the QR code are captured. And here's where you can add that as a file. So you can take it with your phone. You can load it up to your computer if that's what you're working on, your laptop. And then once it's here, just go discover where you saved it and then load it up here. Once you've done that, and I always suggest to, before you click that submit button, just scroll back up, right? Just to give it a quick review, make sure everything is populated correctly, especially the SN number for your device. Check your description, make sure you're giving good details in there, okay? Good details. And then once you've done that, then come and click the submit button. So Jake, I know this is one area that we get to work with on a daily basis. Anything that you want to add here regarding the submission of a case number?
No, I think that's a good overview. One thing though to keep in mind, after you submit the ticket, make sure that you're following up. So when we respond to a ticket, if we ask for additional information, like say we might ask for a picture of the back of the Healy to confirm the serial number, or a picture of the clip if it's broken, or whatever the issue is, a screenshot, something like that. If we ask for any information and then if you don't respond within 7 days to us, that ticket gets closed out, because most of the times, if no one's responding within a week, it's either been resolved already or there's no longer needing assistance. So if that happens and for some reason you weren't able to respond in time, you can always just put in the same ticket again and we can do it over. But yeah, that's just, if it's important enough to put in the ticket, just make sure you're kind of following up to see if there's any additional information that we needed. So
Perfect. And then to add to that, you're going to get an email, right, from tech, but it's a no reply email. So if you reply to it, it's not going to get viewed. What you do need to do when you're looking at replying to that ticket, so let's say your issue was resolved, for example, based on whatever the solution suggestions we're giving, you're going to see that ticket number is populated here. So you'll open up that ticket, right? And just like when we open up for a new case, what's going to happen is you're going to be able now to come in the description and you can put the text name. So like at Jake Barron, for example, right? So now whoever opens it, they're going to see it. They're going to send it to Jake and it's going to, the message would be, hey, Jake, thanks so much for your help. My issues were resolved. That goes a long way also in that little 7-day period, right? To keep your tickets from getting prematurely closed if your issue wasn't addressed. But they need to know if they sent you solutions and you took the action, did they work or not? Here's where you'd come back in and send them that message again, and then just click submit. So now it's creating a string of responses on that ticket number that you'll be able to review right here under that ticket number. Okay. A couple other things I just want to show folks over here. And these are some really cool features that we have. When you click on orders, any of your subscriptions and orders, they're all going to be listed here. Any of your subscriptions, here's where you can come in and make sure that they're all active. Make sure you have all the subscriptions that you want or need. And then this also, devices. When you click on devices, it's going to list. See, it picked up my 2 devices. So if you have multiple devices, you'll want to make sure that they're listed here too, okay? If you're looking to use this BackOffice, or excuse me, this shop account to actually go through the steps to activate your Healy, here are instructions to do that as well. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up here. I mean, there's some other things here, address, payment options, you know, account details, but you can go and review those. I know we've spent some good quality time here. Anything you want to add here on this, Jake?
no, this is we want to give everyone just an overview of the key areas to look out for on the 3 main areas, of which of course are back office, academy, and shop. So I think this is a good overview for especially anyone that's not familiar with these areas yet.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop screen share and turn it back over to you, Jake.
Okay, so we're past time already, but I had it on the agenda, so let's just real quick on the close here. Let's just talk about battery issue real quick. So hard reset, you know, we get that a lot. Someone told me to do a hard reset. How do I do it? Why do I do it? You know, those kind of situations. And Freddie, you've probably done more hard resets than than anybody else in all of Healy. So it's a very simple thing to do. It's just a matter of holding the power button for you know, 15 or so. I think it's usually less than 15 seconds, 10-15 seconds until that light comes on, and then it's going to go off again shortly after that, and then that completes the hard reset cycle. But what do you do after you hard reset? You know, Freddie, what would you recommend to make sure you just plug it in and fully charge it after doing a hard reset, or what have you noticed?
Well, I think, yeah, if you're noticing that there's a battery issue, meaning when you're saying the pink dot and the battery life indicator, let's say it's at 70%, right? So you're thinking, oh, I've got a lot of battery. And then you move from one program, let's say you close it out, you go back and your device won't open. You can't run a program. And part of the reasons with the battery is because it's algorithms that are training that battery, okay, inside. So what I always suggest at that case is to take and plug your Healy into charging, okay? You want to see that that green light that you mentioned earlier comes on. If it doesn't come on, then check your cables, check your charging cable. The one that comes with it, maybe it's not working properly. If you have a different one in the house, plug it into that. Also, it's going to be your charging post or your power adapter. You you want to make sure, because some of those go above 4.5 or 4,500 on the millivolts. You can't go above that because that will burn up the inside. What you want to look at is about 2,500 millivolts. That's pretty good. It will look at about, let's say, 60 to 90 minutes to get a full charge on it. Okay. So it's some of those things that you can troubleshoot, making sure that part of the equipment is working. But let's say it is, you plug your Healy into the charger, then, okay, when it's plugged in the charger, then do a hard reset. So either use your watch or a little timer and look at, 10 or 15 seconds. You're not going to see the light go out. It's going to stay green, but just release it. What that purpose is to help retrain those algorithms. And you may need to do this several times, 2 or 3 times whenever you go to charge it. That way we get that algorithm retrained, and it recognizes 100% as a full charge and 0 needs to be charged.
Yeah, and that's one of the FAQs as well, that those steps are available there too. So, and there was a question earlier on the chat here about somebody that the Bluetooth light wouldn't go off. It's kept blinking. The apps are closed. They restarted their phone, but that Bluetooth light is still blinking, and they couldn't get it to go off. So, if there's ever a situation like that where you've tried the power button just on and off, the apps are closed, everything's fully closed, could that be a situation where you might want to do a hard reset? Because
no,
you
don't want to do it in that case. What you want to do is simply go into your smart device, turn your Bluetooth off just for a second or two, and turn it back on, because there is a little Bluetooth chip inside the Healy device. And sometimes, that connection between your smart device and your Healy device, it doesn't sever when you turn it off. It should. Most times it will, but sometimes it doesn't. So that's the simple resolve. Open up the Bluetooth, turn it off and on.
Yeah, and you can also go into the Pink Dot app, and if you're running a program, you can turn it off while you're running that program. That could maybe get it out of this strange cycle that's currently going on too. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, anything else before we close, Freddie?
I know there was some great questions. I want to thank Taylor. I saw her responding to a ton of them. But again, I'm just going to share with folks, you have an issue, go check the FAQs, go check those videos. And if your upline can't help, then those resources don't help, then go in and put in that support ticket. Okay. Put in that support ticket. Okay. You can put in a support ticket, and then if need be, you can schedule an appointment with me. You can still go to healysupport.com. And on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I have slots available, and we'll do a live Zoom there and see if we can't resolve that issue in that way.
Yep. And just a reminder, this recording will be available on our YouTube channel early next week. If you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications on YouTube, you'll get notified when that is added to the channel. We'll also post this on our Team Healy USA group on Telegram. And also, I did put the link to the YouTube channel in the chat earlier. So if you want to go back and copy that, And if you want to save a copy of the chat for this particular call, if you open up the chat section, if you just click on chat on your screen at the bottom here, click on chat, and then next to the bottom right, next to the smiley face, there's 3 dots. If you click on that, you can click save chat, and that will save the transcript of today's call of the chat to your computer, so you can go back and reference those the links or whatever else that we questions that may have been answered on today's call. So thank you everybody for joining us, and we look forward to continuing to provide as much useful information to all of you, so everybody can become Healy experts in the future, and then train all of your other members and customers, and we can become a world of Healy experts in the near future here. So, yeah.
Very awesome. Yeah, thanks everyone. Really appreciate your participation, and look forward to having you back and bringing some of your new folks in as well.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.